Thomas, James, and Toby were among the first of your favorite engines to arrive at the island of Sodor. They are very useful engines indeed. They have been on the island for many years, and from time to time need some repairs. Can you be very useful in helping them with these repairs? Use the direction buttons on your controller to choose an engine and press enter to begin.
Sir Topham Hatt needs me for many different jobs every day, but I can't be useful until all of my parts are in order. Select the highlighted part that I'm missing using the direction buttons on your controller. Press the enter button when you have chosen the right part. Excellent! My boiler heats water into steam, so I can go really fast around the island of Sodor. My boiler band keeps my boiler covered and protected. Good job! The steps allow for my driver and fireman to climb into my cab so they can take me all over the island of Sodor. You're right! My wheel arch serves to shield my wheels from rocks or other things that may get in the way when I'm traveling around the island. Good work! My buffers are found on my front chassis and provide me with a cushion if I accidentally bump into another engine. Wonderful work! My funnel allows steam engines like myself to release steam when we're hard at work. Thank you so much. I'm off to help Sir Topham Hatt. Hi, I'm James, and I need your help. Can you put my parts back together so that I'm once again a really splendid engine? Select the highlighted part that I am missing using the direction buttons on your controller. Press the enter button when you have chosen the right part. Good work! This is an important part that helps people to climb on board. Excellent job. That's my dome, and it's shiny. That's it. My connecting rod connects 3 of my wheels together so that they all rotate correctly and keep me going on the tracks. You got it. My wheel arch protects my wheels, which are very, very important. You were great. I think Thomas and Toby need your help next. Hi, I'm Toby, and I'm always willing to work, but that's hard to do if I'm in need of repair. Can you put all my parts in the right place so I am once again useful? Select the highlighted part that I am missing using the direction buttons on your controller. Press the enter button when you have chosen the right part. You are very useful. The cow catcher helps prevent accidents when cows are on the rails. You got it. My light helps me to see at night, which is especially useful down at the quarry. Great job. My coupling hook connects me to other engines, coaches, or those crazy troublesome trucks. Good work. My buffers are found in my front and back chassis, and protect me with a cushion if I accidentally bump into another engine or get a little rough with the troublesome trucks. Great job. I'm feeling much better and can now head to the quarry line to do some work.
Thomas, James, and Percy are in need of some repairs and would like your help. Use the right and left direction buttons on your controller to choose an engine and press Enter to begin.
Hi, I'm James. I had a little accident with some troublesome trucks and need your help. Can you put all my parts in the right place so I am once again a really splendid engine? Select the highlighted part that I am missing using the direction buttons on your controller. Press the Enter button when you have chosen the right part. Excellent. Tenders are for splendid engines like myself and allow me to carry my coal, so I always have enough steam to finish the job. Splendid. The front chassis is very important because it contains my buffers, coupling hook, and brake pipe. Great! My connecting rod attaches my wheels to one another, which make it possible for me to travel along the tracks. Wonderful work! My funnel allows steam engines like myself to release steam when we're hard at work. You were a great help. Now, let's continue on our journey.
Thomas J.
Hi, I'm Thomas, and I need your help. Sir Topham Hatt needs me down at the quarry, but I can't help out until I'm all repaired. Select the highlighted part that I am missing using the direction buttons on your controller. Press the Enter button when you have chosen the right part. Nice job! I have 6 wheels which help me go really fast because even small engines like myself can be really useful. Good work! My buffers are found on my front and back chassis and protect me with a cushion if I accidentally bump into another engine or get a little rough with the troublesome trucks. That's it. The cab is where my crew stands to drive me around the island. Terrific! The smoke box contains my steam pipe and funnel, which gives me the energy to travel along my very own branch line. Thank you so much. I'm off to the quarry.
Thomas J.
Hi, I'm Percy, and I'm not feeling very useful today, but you can help me get better. Select the highlighted part that I am missing using the direction buttons on your controller. Press the Enter button when you have chosen the right part. Good job! The steps allow for my driver and fireman to climb into my cab so they can take me all over the island of Sodor. Hooray! My boiler heats water into steam, so I can go really fast and be a really useful engine.
My special pistons help to keep my connecting rods moving and my wheels spinning. Fantastic! My whistle alerts passengers at the station or other trains that I'm approaching. Great job! I'm feeling much better. Now, I'm off to prove that even little engines can do big things.
How much do you know about Thomas, Gordon, and the rest of your Island of Sodor friends? Play the Best of Gordon trivia game and test your knowledge. 9 different questions will show just how big of a Thomas fan you are. To play, listen to each question carefully and select the correct answer by using the direction buttons on your controller. When you think you've made the correct choice, press the Enter button. If you're right, you'll see a special clip from one of your favorite Gordon stories. Be sure to come back and play again and again.
In the story Gordon Takes a Dip, which engine had to push Gordon to the turntable when his fire was slow to start? A. Thomas. B. Edward. C. James. You're great! It was Edward who pushed Gordon to the turntable.
Gordon's fire was slow to start, so Edward had to push Gordon to the turntable to get him facing the right way. "I won't go! I won't go!" grumbled Gordon. "Don't be silly! Don't be silly!" puffed Edward.
How many boys were teasing Gordon when he fell into the ditch in the story Gordon Takes a Dip? A. 2. B. 3. C. 5. I knew I could count on you. It was 3 boys who were teasing Gordon.
On the other side of the ditch, some little boys were chattering. "Oh, doesn't he look silly? They'll never get him out." They began to sing. "Silly old Gordon fell in a ditch, fell in a ditch, fell in a ditch. Silly old Gordon fell in a ditch, all on a Monday morning."
What is Thomas not supposed to pass when he arrives at the mine in Down the Mine? A. The danger sign. B. The yellow balloon. C. The guard. You passed that test with no problem. Thomas was not supposed to pass the danger sign.
Long ago, miners digging for lead had made tunnels under the ground. Their roofs are strong enough to hold up cars, but not the weight of engines. A large notice warns them not to enter the area. Danger! Engines must not pass this board. Silly old board, thought Thomas. He had often tried to pass it, but had never succeeded. But this morning he had made a plan.
In the story Down the Mine, what do Thomas and Gordon decide to do after Gordon rescues Thomas from the mine? A. Race back to the shed. B. Go to the mine after dark. C. Be friends and help each other. I've decided you're really smart. Thomas and Gordon decided it's best they be friends and help each other out.
"I'm in disgrace." "So am I," said Thomas. "Why, so you are, Thomas. Shall we form an alliance? You help me and I'll help you." "Right you are," agreed Thomas. "Good, that's settled," rumbled Gordon. And buffer to buffer, the allies puffed home.
In the story Whistles and Sneezes, what did the boys on the bridge throw at Henry? A. Eggs. B. Stones. C. Sticks. We
We've thrown some really tough questions at you, and you're still perfect. The boys threw stones at Henry.
Next morning, Henry was enjoying himself enormously. I feel so well. I feel so well, he sang. Trickety-trock, hummed his coaches. Then he saw some boys on a bridge. Beep, beep, hello, he whistled. Oh, he called. The boys didn't wave and take his number. They thought it fun to drop stones on him instead. They've broken our glass! They've broken our glass! Cried the coaches.
What did Henry do to teach the boys not to be so mean in whistles and sneezes? A. Spray water on them. B. Sneeze on them. C. Splash mud on them. There's no sneezing about how smart you are. Henry did sneeze on the boys. Great work.
Soon they could see the boys, and they all had stones. Are you ready, Henry? Said the driver. Sneeze hard when I tell you. Now, he said. Achoo! Well done, Henry, laughed his driver.
How fast does Thomas say the famous engine can travel in Gordon and the Famous Visitor? A. 100 miles per hour. B. 25 miles per hour. C. 175 miles per hour. You were fast on that one. Thomas said the Famous Visitor could travel 100 miles per hour.
Gordon was still complaining. Good riddance, he grumbled, chattering all night. Who is he anyway? Duck told you, replied Thomas. He's famous. As famous as me? Nonsense. He's famouser than you. He went 100 miles an hour before you were even thought of. Huh, so he says, puffed Gordon. But I didn't like his looks. He's got no dome. Never trust domeless engines. They're not respectable. I never boast, but I'd say 100 miles an hour would be easy for me. Goodbye.
In Gordon and the Famous Visitor, what happens to Gordon's dome when he tries to go as fast as the Famous Visitor? A. It splits in half. B. It shakes and rattles. C. It flies off in the wind. That question was a breeze for you. Gordon's dome did fly off in the wind.
But it was too late. On the viaduct, they met the wind. It was a teasing wind which blew suddenly in hard puffs. Gordon thought it wanted to push him off the bridge. No, you don't, he said firmly. But the wind had other ideas. It curled round his boiler, crept under his loose dome, and lifted it off and away into the valley below. Gordon was most uncomfortable.
In the story Wrong Road, what did Gordon's fireman mistake for a signal flag? A. A lady's scarf. B. A lady's green hat. C. A lady's coat. There's no mistake in saying you're really smart. Gordon's fireman mistook a lady's green hat for a signal flag.
But tonight, there was trouble. A lady in a green floppy hat was saying goodbye to a friend. It was nearly time for Gordon to start. The fireman looked back towards the conductor's van and saw something green waving. Right away, mate. He thought the conductor had waved his flag. Gordon started, leaving luggage, his passengers, and the conductor all standing on the platform. Everyone was very surprised and cross.
Congratulations! You have answered all 9 questions correctly and are a top-notch Thomas and Friends fan. Thank you for playing, and be sure to come back again for more trivia questions to try. How much do you know about Thomas, James, and the rest of your Island of Sodor friends? Play the Best of James trivia game and test your knowledge. 8 different questions will see just how big of a Thomas fan you are. To play, select the correct answer by using the direction buttons on your controller. Press the Enter button when you have chosen the correct answer. Be sure to come back and play again and again. What did James's driver use to fix his brake pipe? A. Glue. B. A bootlace. C. A new brake pipe. Well done. My driver had to use a bootlace to repair my brake pipe, and the other engines still tease me about it. What kind of vehicle is Terrence? A. Steam engine. B. Tractor. C. Bus. Nice work. I am Terrence, and I am a tractor. With my caterpillar wheels, I am able to go many places on the island that the engines can't. What did James crash into when he sped out of control down the hill in James in a Mess? A. Sir Topham Hatt's house. B. The engine shed. C. Tar wagons. Nice job. I did crash into the tar wagons and got tar all over my shiny red paint. What number engine is Edward? A. 1. B. 2. C. 3. You're great. I am Edward, and I am the number 2 engine. What color engine is James? A. Red. B. Blue. C. Green. Of course, I am James, and I am the splendid red engine. I am the number 7 tram engine who enjoys traveling the island of Sodor in search of fun. Who am I? A. Edward. B. James. C. Toby. Nice job. I am Toby, and with my faithful friend Henrietta, I have had many exciting adventures. What color suit does Sir Topham Hatt wear? A. Black. B. Blue. C. Red. Well done. You're really useful. In my black suit and top hat, I keep the railway running smoothly and right on time. What did Percy crash into at the harbor which got him in a sticky situation? A. Tar. B. Fruit. C. Chocolate. Nice work! I crashed into some crates of fruit, which completely covered me in ooey-gooey jam. Congratulations! You have answered all 8 questions correctly, and are a top-notch Thomas and Friends fan. Thank you for playing, and be sure to come back again for more trivia questions to try. How much do you know about Thomas, Percy, and the rest of your island of Sodor friends? Play the Best of Percy trivia game and test your knowledge. 8 different questions will see just how big of a Thomas fan you are. To play, select the correct answer by using the direction buttons on your controller. Press the Enter button when you have chosen the correct answer. When you select the right answer, you'll see a special clip from one of your favorite Percy stories. Be sure to come back and play again and again. In the story Percy Runs Away, who almost runs into Percy on the main line? A. Toad. B. Thomas. C. Gordon.
You did it.
Percy waited and waited. The switch was still against him, so he couldn't move. Then he looked along the main line. Beep, beep! He whistled in horror, for rushing straight toward him was Gordon with the express. Oh! Groaned Gordon. Get out of my way! Percy opened his eyes. Gordon had stopped with Percy's buffers just a few inches from his own.
Who warns Percy about the bad weather in Percy's promise? A. Edward. B. Thomas. C. Sir Topham Hatt. Right on.
Be careful, warned Edward. There's a storm coming. A promise is a promise, thought Percy, no matter what the weather.
Who won the race between Harold and Percy? A. Percy. B. Harold. C. Neither. It was a tie. You got it.
Oh dear, groaned Percy. I'm sure we've lost. The fireman scrambled to the cab roof. We've won! We've won! He shouted. Harold's still hovering. He's looking for a place to land.
Who told Bill and Ben to leave Sir Topham Hatt's shed? A. Thomas. B. Henry. C. Percy. Of course, you are right.
What are you engines doing here? Hissed Henry. This shed is for Sir Topham Hatt's engines. Go away. Silly things, Henry snorted.
What was loaded on the cart that Percy ran into while riding at night? A. Chocolate. B. Lime. C. Jam. You're right.
But a broken cartload of lime lay ahead. Sam the farmer had just gone for help. Percy broke the cart to smithereens. Lime flew everywhere.
What did Daisy leave behind at the station? A. The freight cars. B. The milk car. C. The fuel car. Excellent. You did it.
Hello, Percy. I see Daisy's left the milk behind again. I'll have to make a special journey with it, I suppose. Anyone would think I'd nothing to do, grumbled Percy. Tell you what, replied Toby, I'll take the milk, you fetch my freight cars. The drivers and station master agreed.
Who pulls the mail trains on the island of Sodor along with Percy? A. Thomas. B. James. C. Gordon. Great job.
This is the sound of the mail train. One train is pulled by Thomas and the other by Percy, as the loads are too heavy for one engine to do the work alone. The mail is loaded into freight cars at the harbors, and the engines pull their trains through the silent stations delivering their precious loads.
What was Percy hoping for when caught in the snow with Thomas? A. A scarf. B. A blanket. C. A coat. You got it right.
Scarves, continued Percy. Scarves? Laughed Thomas. That's what you need, Percy. A woolly scarf round your funnel. Thomas was only teasing, but Percy thought happily about scarves until the firelighter came.
Congratulations! You have answered all 8 questions correctly and are a top-notch Thomas and Friends fan. Thank you for playing, and be sure to come back again for more trivia questions to try. Welcome to the Character Gallery. Thomas Thomas has many friends on the island of Sodor. Visit them all by pressing the left arrow button on your controller. Thomas can be described as a cheeky, fussy little engine. He often gets into scrapes, usually by being over-eager to do things best left to bigger and more sensible engines. But clouds never last long in Thomas's life, and he's soon bustling about again, playing his part in the yard and on his very own branch line, of which he is extremely proud. James is a medium-sized engine. His 6 driving wheels are not as big as Gordon's and not as small as Thomas's. He has a fine scarlet coat and brass dome and likes to think of himself as a really splendid engine. This can occasionally lead to highfalutin ideas about the sort of work suitable for such a noble creature. Invariably, they land James in trouble. Percy is the junior member of the principal team of engines. He's a happy little chap who's normally quite happy buffing around the yard with no particular desire for adventure in the great world outside. He is always keen to oblige, a fact of which the other engines are apt to take advantage. Henry is a long, fast engine. He has a thoroughbred look, and like all thoroughbreds, tends to be somewhat highly strung and prone to illness. But he has his new shape now, and sympathetically driven, he'll give any engine a run for its money. Mavis is a feisty young diesel engine who works at the quarry. She's full of her own ideas and doesn't take kindly to advice. She has a lot to learn about trucks, but with Toby's help, she's learning to be a really useful engine. Gordon is the senior member of the engine family, the fastest and most powerful of my string, and he knows it. He's good-hearted, though, and always willing to forgive, and use his superior strength to help smaller engines out of trouble. Toby is old-fashioned, both in looks and outlook. Every engine, no matter how old, wants to be really useful, and having once nearly been scrapped, Toby is always happy to work. He's not above being temperamental sometimes, but since he works mainly up an outlying quarry line, he can work off his moods without causing grief to anyone, except his own faithful coach, Henrietta. Annie and Clarabelle were given to Thomas as a reward for being a really useful engine. They're much loved, but have both seen better days. Annie carries passengers. She's always pulled by Thomas and travels facing him. Clarabelle is a composite coach. She has one section for passengers and one for luggage and the guard. Clarabelle always travels behind Annie, facing away from Thomas. Bertie has a great deal in common with Thomas. Ever since their great race, they've been the firmest of friends. Bertie's strongest characteristic is his friendly grin and his readiness to help any engine prepared to admit that just sometimes roads have their uses as well as rails. In a railway family, Harold can hardly avoid having a high profile. He brings a welcome spot of dash to the quiet landscape of Sodor whenever he appears, and even if the noise he makes is occasionally wearing, he is good-hearted, and the engines are always pleased to see him. Like all cranes, Cranky has a high and mighty attitude, which often annoys the engines. Cranky knows that if he ever gets too big for his crane hook, the engines have ways of getting back at him. However, Cranky enjoys teasing them because, he says, it makes for good working relationships. But don't ask Percy if he agrees. It's been many years since I first came to Sodor as a railway engineer. I rose quickly in the company, being a director at an early age, and eventually chairman. My imposing appearance, no less than my firm but kindly handling of both engines and staff, earned me the affectionate nickname of the Fat Director. Then, after nationalization, when I was awarded a knighthood for my services to the railway industry, I became Sir Topham Hatt, the Fat Controller.
You good at counting? You can be really useful in helping me count items that appeared in episodes of Thomas and the Jet Engine. In this Counting Corner game, you will see different scenes from the stories and be asked to count the items that appear in the scenes. Use the up and down arrow keys to select the correct answer. Here we go. Do you remember when Percy became frightened by the gnomes in the episode Percy in the Haunted Mine? How many gnomes do you see in this scene? That's right. There are 2 gnomes. I asked Bulgy to carry passengers around the island of Sodor, and he was very excited. Can you count the number of passengers waiting to get on board? You've got it. There are 4 people ready to board Bulgy. When Thomas jetted around the island, he saw many things. Here, there are some children crossing the bridge who stopped to wave to Thomas. How many children do you see? Great job. You're an excellent counter. There are 4 children on the bridge. Harold was very useful when his help was needed for the party. Do you see how many horses Harold is carrying to the party? Yes, Harold only carried 1 horse. That was enough for 1 day. In the story Bulgy Rides Again, how many chickens do you see climbing on board Bulgy? Yes, we see 6 chickens climbing on board Bulgy here. When Thomas accidentally jetted around the island, he was also carrying some cargo. How many large boxes do you see Thomas carry? Yes, Thomas is carrying 2 large cargo boxes. When Harold was flying over the island on the day of the party, he flew high up in the sky. Can you count the clouds in the sky here? You've got it. Harold is flying up there with 4 big fluffy clouds. In Scaredy Engines, the engines are celebrating Halloween. There are decorations and jack-o'-lanterns all around the island of Sodor. Can you count how many jack-o'-lanterns you see here? That's right. There are 3 jack-o'-lanterns. You have terrific counting skills. Excellent job. Come back again soon.
You find the numbers for my railway friends? Select a number by using the left or right button of your controller. Press the Enter button when you've found the correct number.
You've done a great job. Number 3 is my number.
Great job! I am the number 6 engine.
Well done. Number 2 looks great on my side. Excellent. Only I could wear the number 5. Nice work. I am the number 4 express engine.
That's great! I am the #1 engine.
Welcome to the Fun with Numbers game. You can help me figure out how many objects are in each scene. To play, select the correct answer by using the direction buttons on your controller. Press the Enter button when you have chosen the correct answer. Let's begin. The station master uses his whistle to signal when the train is ready to leave the station. How many whistles do you see here? 3, 4, 5, or 6? That's it. Great job. There are 4 whistles. The guard uses the flag to alert the engines when there may be trouble on the line. Can you tell me how many flags there are? Are there 4, 5, 6, or 7? Once again, you've chosen correctly. There are 5 flags in the picture. Oh no, someone has left their luggage on the platform. Count the suitcases and choose your answer carefully. Are there 4, 5, 6, or 7? All aboard. You're right in saying there are 6 suitcases in this picture. Henry does love his forest. Can you count how many trees are there? Are there 3, 4, 5, or 6? Great job. Henry has 4 trees in his forest. The engines need their wheels so that they can ride on the tracks and be very useful. Can you tell me how many wheels you see here? 4, 5, 6, or 7? You're right. There are 5 wheels in the picture. I have a lot of hats in my closet. Count the hats and choose your answer carefully. Are there 3, 5, 7, or 9? You chose correctly. There are 7 hats in my closet. Lady Hat has a lot of flowers in our garden. Please help me count the flowers in this picture. Are there 6, 8, 9, or 10? Great job! Lady Hat planted 10 flowers in our garden this year. The railroad crossing signs are used to let the engines know when it is safe to cross intersections. How many railroad crossing signs do you see here? Are there 5, 7, 8, or 9? You're right. Great job. There are 9 crossing signals in this picture. Congratulations. You did a great job. Thank you for helping me count the items, and be sure to come back and play again. Welcome to my memory game. Do you have a good memory? We'll start by viewing a scene filled with my fellow engines, friends, and other items that can be found on the island of Sodor. You need to pay very close attention and try to remember all the items in the scene. I'll blow my whistle 3 times and the scene will go away. I'll then show you a screen with 4 items, and you'll choose the item that was not part of the scene. To play, select the correct answer by using the direction buttons on your controller. Press the Enter button when you have chosen the correct answer. Let's get started. Okay, engineers, take a close look at this scene and try to remember what you see. Which of these 4 items was not in the scene you just looked at?
Splendid. You're 100% right. The engine shed was not part of the picture you just saw. Here's another scene from the island of Sodor. Try to remember exactly what you see. Can you choose the item that was not in the scene? That's it. You were right to choose the flower box. Here's Thomas arriving at the station. You also see Sir Topham Hatt. Concentrate now and see if you can remember which item you don't see. Okay, engineers, which of these four things were not in the scene with Thomas? You're right. Cranky was not part of the picture you just saw. You're doing great. Let's keep going and see what we can remember this time. Now it's time to choose which of these four things was not in the scene you just looked at. Great job! You chose Sir Topham Hatt, and you're right. Concentrate now and see if you can choose the correct answer. Do you remember what you saw? What item didn't you see? You're right. The bush was not in the scene with Harold and Bulstrode. Here's James. Now look around and see if you can remember everything you see. Can you choose the item that was not in the scene? You've chosen correctly. Terrence was not in that picture. Nice work. You are truly a top-notch engineer for getting all of these questions right. Hop on board, and I'll take you on your next adventure.
To James's Connect the Dots game, where you'll have the chance to help complete each picture. Use the direction buttons on your controller to move in order from number to number and press enter when you select the correct dot. Here you go. Trevor needs your help to figure out what is living in the pasture. Remember to start at the number 1 and go in order. Fantastic! It is a sheep, and they are often in the fields that Trevor plowed. Do you remember what James saw in the sky? Start at the number 1 and move from number to number to finish the pic. Great work. Not only did it crash into him, but James was able to use his steam to get the red, hot air balloon back in the sky. Bulstrode can't figure out what is splashing up in front of him. Can you help by connecting the dots? Amazing! It is a fish, and it looks as though it jumped back in the water and swam away. Harold flies high in the sky with birds and other things. If you connect the dots, you'll find out what else is in the sky with Harold. Great job! Harold often sees lots of clouds when he's flying high in the sky. Thomas is waiting at the train station for his signal to say go. Can you help? Connect the dots and Thomas will be on his way. Thank you for your help. Now Thomas can go on his way and help Percy and James at the rail. What is Cranky trying to pick up with his crane? Use the direction buttons on your controller to connect the dots and solve the mystery.
I gave away over one key in the last day. I really can't remember.
You're so smart. Cranky was lifting crates full of food for the engines to deliver all across the island. Nice job. You've completed all the pictures. Be sure to come back again and again. Welcome to Memory Fun. Do you have a good memory? Choose the group of friends you'd like to play with using the direction arrows on your controller, and we'll get started. Let's see if you can remember which shed Thomas, Percy, Mavis, and Henry are in once the doors are closed. Take a close look at the sheds, and good luck. Let's start with Percy. Use the direction buttons on your controller to find Percy's shed. When you think you found him, press the Enter button.
You're right. I'm Percy, and you did a great job remembering which shed I was in. Have fun with the rest of your friends.
Can you find Thomas next?
Very good work. You remembered where I was. You have a great memory.
2 more to go. Try to remember which shed Mavis is in.
Way to go. You remembered exactly right.
There's just one engine left. Use the direction buttons on your controller to find Henry's shed.
Excellent. You did a fantastic job and have a great memory.
You did a great job finding Percy, Thomas, Mavis, and Henry. Now let's return to the Memory Fun main menu and choose another group of engines to play with. Choose the group of friends you'd like to play with using the direction buttons on your controller. Let's Let's see if you can remember which shed Thomas, James, Edward, and Percy are in once the doors are closed. Take a good look at the sheds, and good luck. Let's start with Thomas. Use the direction buttons on your controller to find his shed. When you think you found him, press the Enter button.
Very good work. You remembered where I was. You have a great memory.
Can you find James next?
Splendid. I'm happy you found me so I can go be really useful on the island.
2 more to go. Try to remember which shed Edward is in.
Great job. You remembered.
There is just one engine left. Use the direction buttons on your controller to find Percy's shed. When you think you found him, press the Enter button.
You're right. I'm Percy, and you did a great job remembering which shed I was in. Have fun with the rest of your friends.
Very well done. Thomas, James, Edward, and Percy really like playing with you. Now let's return to the Memory Fun main menu and choose another group of engines. Choose the group of friends you'd like to play with using the direction buttons on your controller. Let's see if you can remember which shed Thomas, Gordon, Duck, and Toby are in once the doors are closed. Take a good look at the sheds, and good luck. Let's start with Thomas. Use the direction buttons on your controller to find his shed. When you think you found him, press the Enter button.
Very good work. You remembered where I was. You have a great memory.
Can you find Gordon next? You did it. Great job. 2 more to go. Try to remember which shed Duck is in.
I was hoping you'd find me. I'm glad you have such a good memory.
There's just one engine left. Use the direction buttons on your controller to find Toby's shed.
You did it. I'm Toby, and you did a great job remembering which shed I was in.
You are very useful. Thomas, Gordon, Duck, and Toby really enjoyed the Memory Fun game. Please play again soon.
How well do you remember the stories on Thomas and the Jet Engine? Work with each engine to match the correct answer with the question. Use the up and down arrow keys to select the right answer and press Enter when you think you've chosen the right one. Good luck! I'm Bulgy, and I was very excited when Sir Topham Hatt entrusted me to carry passengers to their destinations around the island. Unfortunately, I had some other visitors who disrupted the passengers. Do you remember who disrupted the passengers by climbing on board while I was asleep? That's right. Chickens climbed on board while I was fast asleep. When you were watching Thomas and the Jet Engine, you saw me jet very quickly around the island. Boy, was that an adventure! Do you remember what I was carrying that caused me to move so? You got it! When Cranky ignited the big silver jet engine, it accidentally started and I sped off so fast I was a blur to all those I passed. I felt very left out when all the engines were getting ready for a big party on the island and I couldn't help. But then, I was called into action to help transport an animal that was in need. Do you remember what that animal was? You got it. It was a horse. I was upset when Thomas and Percy were making fun of me for my seafaring ways. But I really got to prove myself when Fergus and I worked to fix this item when it stopped working during the storm. Can you remember what we helped to fix? It was the lighthouse. The ships can't see the island without this, so it was very important that this was fixed. I teased Percy for being scared of ghosts, but then I ran into something down at the smelter shed that really spooked me. What was it I ran into? Yes, those chains really frightened me when I accidentally ran into them. Do you remember what it was that scared me when I was down at the Yes, those gnomes really scared me. But then, when I found out they were harmless, I brought them back to help decorate the station. That was fun. You did a great job.
I love to play games in my spare time on the island, and this is one of my favorites. Help your Island of Sodor friends by piecing together the following puzzles. When the picture comes up on your screen, I will ask you which puzzle piece fits in the missing highlighted shape. Use the direction arrows to select a piece at the bottom, and press enter when you think you've chosen the right one. If you place all the pieces in the picture correctly, you will be rewarded with a special video clip. Good luck! I love to fly high in the sky, but sometimes when I take off, my propellers stir up a lot of dust and wind. Why, the wind even blew this picture in pieces. Can you help? Nice work on finding that piece. Now let's try the next one. Nice work on finding that piece. Now let's try the next one. Nice work on finding that piece. Now let's try the next one. Thank you. You did a great job.
Harold the helicopter was at Callan Station picking up medical supplies. "Hello, Percy," he called. And he took off blowing cinders and ashes everywhere. "Not again," cried Percy. "I want a washdown."
I had a little accident, and not only did I crash into the chocolate factory, but I broke this picture into pieces, and now I'm in a sticky situation. Can you help me out? I knew you could do it. How about the next one? I knew you could do it. How about the next one? I knew you could do it. How about the next one? Thank you so much for all your help.
"Oh no," hooted Percy. "Yuck," he groaned. "I've never been this dirty." He was covered from funnel to firebox in sticky, gooey chocolate.
Iron Airy and Iron Bert are always trying to break things down at the yards, and just look what they've done to this picture. Can you help put it back together? Splendid work. Let's go to the next piece. Splendid work. Let's go to the next piece. Splendid work. Let's go to the next piece. You're really useful. Thanks for all your hard work.
"Hello, James," oozed Harry. "Come to learn a thing or two from those who know." "Just get my freight cars ready and stay out of my way," huffed James importantly. "Yes, sir," Bert chimed greasily. James cheerfully backed up to his freight cars. He was certain he had fooled Harry and Bert, but he was wrong. "Little red piggy in the middle," chortled Harry. "Just like Percy," jeered Bert. "I am not like Percy," huffed James. "I'm not a middle engine, and I'm not moving." And he didn't.
Remember, don't point a gun.
Sodor's special spelling game. Please help each of your island friends by using the direction buttons on your controller to help finish spelling their names. When you think you have chosen the correct letter, press the enter button. Good luck. Hi, I'm James, the splendid red engine, and I need your help. Can you find the first letter in my name? Great job. J is the first letter of my name.
If you're a parent, as a parent, you own children.
My turn. Percy is the name, but it looks like I am missing the first letter. Can you help me? Perfect. P is the right answer. Hi. As you know, I'm Thomas. Do you know the first letter in my name? Sound it out, and remember, it is the same letter that starts the word train. Terrific! T is for Thomas. You're on a roll. Great job! You're so smart, and all of your friends are grateful for your help. Be sure to come back soon and help out more of your Sodor friends.
I'm Thomas, and I can't imagine a better place than the island of Sodor. I have so many great memories. Would you like to hear some of them? Use your direction buttons on your controller to highlight one of my favorite memories, and then press the enter button. One day, winter had arrived on the island, and I was upset because I didn't want to wear my snowplow. I banged my snowplow so much that it wouldn't fit, and I had to ride the rails without it. I ended up stuck in a pile of snow, and Terrence had to come to my rescue, and Bertie had to take my passengers back to the station. I learned a very valuable lesson that day, and now I always remember to wear my snowplow when it snows. I remember a time when James had an accident, and I helped get his trucks where they needed to go and took James back to the shed. And because I was so useful, look what happened. I'll never forget the day I wanted to go fishing. I always looked forward to the sight of the river, but was told that engines don't fish. I ran out of steam that day, and my driver had to fill my tank with river water. But something was wrong, and there was too much steam. Fish were found in my tank that must have come from the river water. Sir Topham Hatt and the inspectors had to fish all of the fish out of my tank. Now I know why engines don't go fishing. It's too uncomfortable. Hi, I'm Gordon, and I am the fastest engine on Sodor. I have some really great memories of my time on the island. I will tell you about the time I'll never forget. The time when I was a really useful engine, and of course, a time when I was not so useful. To hear my favorite memories, use the direction buttons on your controller to highlight what memory you'd like to hear. Then, press the enter button. I'll never forget when Henry helped pull a train when Edward and I just couldn't do it alone one day. Just watch as they worked together to get the job done. That is how the three of us became great friends. I remember when Thomas, another Blue Main Line engine like myself, started teasing me because he thought he worked harder. But watch closely when I showed him that I am the fastest and that being cheeky never really pays off. I like to show the other engines how strong and fast I am, which sometimes leads me into trouble. I once was ready to make fun of Henry because he was all bricked up in a tunnel, but learned that really useful engines don't make fun of their friends. Hi, I'm James, the most splendid engine on the island of Sodor. Don't you think my red paint shines? I've many great memories to share with you. Use the direction buttons on your controller to highlight the splendid memory you'd like to hear and press enter to begin. A splendid engine like myself should pull coaches, and I'll never forget the first time Sir Topham Hatt asked me to pull the express coaches after Gordon fell ill. It's sometimes really hard pulling troublesome trucks, especially up Gordon's Hill, but watch what happens when a splendid engine like myself puts all my might into a job. I learned a very important lesson when I first began pulling coaches. I was too rough with them, and it ended up breaking my brake pipe. Look at what they had to do to fix it. I'll never do that again. Hi, I'm Edward, the number 2 Blue Engine. I've been on the island for a long time and have many fond memories I'd like to share with you. To hear my favorite memories, use the direction buttons on your controller to highlight a special memory and then press enter to select. I'll never forget when the other engines were stubborn and I helped the coaches while Thomas was away. I remember when Gordon got stuck at the bottom of his hill when he was pulling a bunch of coaches. I was asked to help him up the hill, and that's just what I did. I really didn't feel that useful when Sir Topham Hatt told Percy, Thomas, and I to go play on the branch line. I'd rather be working hard. Hi, my name is Percy, and I'm the number 6 engine on the island. Would you like to hear some of my favorite Sodor memories? Use the direction buttons on your controller to highlight one of my favorite memories and press enter to begin. I'll never forget when Sir Topham Hatt brought me to the yard to help shunt the coaches. I was so excited. My first holiday on the island was very special. I felt really useful helping Mrs. Kindly get to the Christmas party. Watch what happened. One day, I was so eager to work, but I was rather careless and forgot to whistle. Gordon didn't hear my whistle, so he nearly ran into me and gave me such a scare that I ran rushing up Gordon's Hill backwards and had no driver to help me stop. Because I had no driver to help me stop, I ran into a huge pile of dirt. But luckily, I was okay, and now I'm most careful when I go on the main line. Hi, my name is Henry, and I'm the long and fast number 3 engine. I've made so many friends on the island of Sodor, and they have all given me very great memories. To hear my favorite memories, use the controller to highlight what you'd like me to tell you, and press enter when you're ready to be... I'll never forget how good I felt after they changed my coal to special Welsh coal. It was wonderful. I remember when Gordon ran out of steam and couldn't pull the express coaches, and I had to help out and was a really useful engine. Sir Topham Hatt asked me to help Edward do it, and, well, look at what happened. One time it was raining, and I'd just gotten a fresh coat of paint. To make sure I kept my paint shiny, I found the nearest tunnel and stayed where it was dry and warm. Unfortunately, I didn't want to come out, and because I was so stubborn, just look what Sir Topham Hatt did.
Welcome to Sodor Superstars. This is your chance to get to know your island friends. You can learn Thomas's favorite saying, or a fun fact about James, or maybe you want to find out where Salty's favorite island spot is. Simply use the direction buttons to choose the friend that you would like to learn more about. and then press enter. Each superstar appears in a Percy's Chocolate Crunch episode, so once you become more familiar with each friend, make sure you check them out in the main feature. Or better yet, use your direction buttons to click on other starring roles and push enter. Here you will find a list of other videos where your friends can be found. Have fun and come back again and again. Thomas is a cheeky, fussy engine who often gets into scrapes by being over-eager to do things best left to bigger and more sensible engines. As you can see, Thomas is blue. His favorite saying is, "I'm a really useful engine." You can catch him in many starring roles, including Thomas and Bertie's Great Race and Thomas Comes to Breakfast. But did you know that Thomas was given Annie and Clarabelle after helping with some troublesome trucks? Get to know him at his favorite island spot, the countryside, pulling Annie and Clarabelle. You can see Thomas and other exciting Thomas and Friends adventures on these videos. Percy is the junior member of my principal team of engines. He's a very hard worker. As you can see, Percy is green. His favorite saying is, "Little engines can do big things." And he's often proving this to his island friends. You can catch him in many starring roles, including Thomas, Percy and the Dragon, and Percy's Ghostly Trick. But did you know that Percy was brought to my railway when Gordon, James and Henry went on strike? Get to know him better at his favorite island place, the seaside. You can see Percy and other exciting Thomas and Friends adventures on these videos. Gordon is the senior member of my engine family, the fastest and the strongest, and he knows it. He has a good heart, but sometimes takes on jobs that are even too big for him. As you can see, Gordon is blue. You will often hear him saying, "I'm the fastest engine on the island." And you can catch him in many starring roles, including A Better View for Gordon and Gordon and the Gremlin. But did you know that Gordon was the first engine on Sodor to have the Queen as one of his passengers? Get to know him better at his favorite island spot, Gordon's Hill. You can see Gordon in other exciting Thomas and Friends adventures on these videos. In a railway family, Harold can hardly avoid having a high profile. He brings a welcome spot of dash to the quiet landscape whenever he appears, and it's often Harold I turn to when I need help from the skies. As you can see, Harold is white. His favorite saying is, "I'm off to the rescue." You can catch him in many starring roles, including Toby in the Flood and A Bad Day for Harold the Helicopter. But did you know that as far as we know, Harold has never flown anywhere outside of the island of Sodor? You will always see Harold soaring high in the sky, his favorite island spot. You can see Harold in other exciting Thomas and Friends adventures on these videos. Henry is a long, fast engine with a thoroughbred look. And like all thoroughbreds, Henry tends to be highly strung and prone to illness. As you can see, Henry is green. His favorite saying is, "When it's raining outside, I like to stay in the sheds where it's nice and dry." You can catch him in many starring roles, including Henry and the Elephant and Something in the Air. Did you know that before his shape was changed, Henry needed special Welsh coal to create steam? You will often find Henry hanging out in the forest, his favorite island spot.
Oh!
You can see Henry in other exciting Thomas and Friends adventures on these videos.
Speech about that to a most tricky guy I've ever met in my entire life.
James is a medium-sized engine who likes to think of himself as a really splendid engine. He often boasts about his brass dome and scarlet
Fuck, I'll
paint.
say that
As
was
you can see,
Disney
James is red.
basically,
As a matter of fact, his favorite saying is, "I'm a really splendid engine." And you can catch him in many starring roles, including James Goes Buzz Buzz and James Learns a Lesson. But did you know that James was once repaired with a bootlace? Get to know him better at his favorite island place, the Sodor Engine Wash.
In case you don't know, he is a skill.
You can see James in other exciting Thomas and Friends adventures on these videos.
Let me turn off. Like,
Terence is an honest and hard-working tractor who has often been the subject of teasing from the engines because of his caterpillar wheels.
yeah.
As you can see, Terence is orange. His favorite saying is, "My caterpillar wheels can take me anywhere." You can catch him in many starring roles, including Terence the Tractor and Henry's Forest. But did you know that Terence and Thomas have been good friends ever since Terence pulled Thomas out of a snowdrift? If you're looking for him, search no further than the field, his favorite place, where he is always plowing.
So Hash, I have no regrets in making that, you making that art now.
You can see Terence in other exciting Thomas and Friends adventures on these
and I'm
videos.
not saying I want to rush you. I'm just saying I have no regrets now.
Duck is a cheerful and busy little engine who comes from the Great Western Railroad. He likes to prove how useful smaller engines can be, which sometimes leads him into trouble. As you can see, Duck is green. His favorite saying is, "We don't need diesels to help with the railway." You can catch him in many starring roles, including A Close Shave for Duck and All at Sea. But did you know that Duck's real name is actually Montague? Get to know him better at the harbor by the sea watching the sun set, which is his favorite island place.
What? Hey, no, I already told Clover about the picture.
You can see Duck in other exciting Thomas and Friends adventures on these videos.
Apparently it's just something that sucks dicks.
Elizabeth is a beautifully restored vintage steam wagon who believes that roads are much better than rails. As you can see, Elizabeth is red. Her favorite saying is, "I'm not old, I'm vintage." You can catch her in many starring roles, including Elizabeth, the vintage quarry truck. You can find her at her favorite island place, which is Jeb Cole's workshop getting restored. But did you know that Elizabeth was my very first truck? You can see Elizabeth and other exciting Thomas and Friends adventures on this video.
Hey, I feel like I want to say this out loud.
Mavis is a feisty young diesel engine who works at the quarry. She is full of her own ideas and doesn't take kindly to advice. As you can see, Mavis is black and yellow. Her favorite saying is, "I can do that for you all on my own." You can catch her in many starring roles, including Salty's Secret and Mavis. But did you know that Mavis's best friend is Toby? You will often find her at her favorite island place, the Farquhar Quarry.
It's all good.
You can see Mavis and other exciting Thomas and Friends adventures on these videos.
During his adminship, he was fired.
Salty is a hard-working engine who will occasionally work in the quarry and other island areas, but is happiest when he is by the sea. As you can see, Salty is red. His favorite saying is, "Yo-ho-ho, I love telling tales of the sea." You can catch him in many starring roles, including Salty's Secret and No Sleep for Cranky. But did you know that I brought Salty to the island when I needed help at the Center Island Quarry? Get to know Salty better at the Brendam Docks, his favorite island place. You can see Salty in other exciting Thomas and Friends adventures on this video.
You ready to test your memory again? This is a fun one. You'll need to think back very carefully and put the scenes in the order in which they occurred during the stories of Thomas and the Jet Engine. Use the left and right arrow key to select your answer. If you are in need of help, click on the hint button in the bottom left-hand corner to hear a clue that will help you answer the question. Have fun.
I was disappointed not to be part of the fun and preparations for the party, but when one of the horses got stuck,
I transported him to the party so that he could give rides to the children. I felt very useful. Which of these three scenes occurred first in Harold and the Flying Horse? Remember, you can click on the hint button to hear a clue if you're having trouble picking the right answer. You've got it. Great job. Do you remember what happened next? Remember, you can click on the hint button for help. That's right. I transported the horse to the party so he could give horseback rides to the guests. By now, you should be pretty familiar with what happened in Thomas and the Jet Engine. Can you choose what happened first in this episode? That's right. Cranky was loading a special delivery onto my car. A jet engine. Can you remember what happened next? Yes, Cranky accidentally turned on the switch to the jet engine, and I sped off. Do you remember when Fergus and I ran into a terrible storm in the story Salty Stormy Tale? The lighthouse went out, and the lighthouse keeper was very upset. Can you choose which one of these three scenes occurred? That's right. I went off to pick up Fergus from the smelter's yard. What happened next? That's it. Fergus and I worked very hard to fix the lighthouse so the fishermen could steer their boat away from the island, and I was very happy to have helped. Sir Topham Hatt entrusted me to carry passengers to their destinations, and I was very happy. But then there was a mishap, and the passengers were disrupted. Can you put these scenes in the order in which they occurred in the story Bulgy Rides Again? Remember, you can click on the hint button if you get stuck. Yes, the chickens caused me to crash, and my passengers weren't very happy. What happened next? My poor passengers were covered with feathers, so Sir Topham Hatt decided I'd go back to being a refreshment stand, and I was very happy about that. Boy, was I frightened in the story Scaredy Engines. Do you remember what happened first in this story? That's right. Percy, Duck, and I went to the smelter's yard to collect scrap. Do you remember what happened after? Yes, when those chains frightened me, I raced back to the sheds. Later, when I realized all was okay, I watched the fireworks with my friend Percy. I had to pass the spooky old abandoned quarry mine on my way to pick up shrubs to decorate the station in the story Percy and the Haunted Mine. Of the three scenes below, which one happened first? You got it. I was traveling by the mine, and I was very frightened. And then what happened? Those gnomes really scared me, but once I realized they were harmless, I simply brought them back to the station with me and used them for decorations. They were a big hit. Congratulations, you did a great job.
There is a special visitor coming to the island, and all the engines need a new coat of paint. Can you help paint the engines the correct color so they're all clean and shiny for the special guest? Select a color by using the left or right button of your controller and press the enter button when you've found the correct paint. Great job! I am the Big Blue Express engine. Fine work. With my new red paint, I'm the most splendid engine on the island. You've done it. I love my new green coat of paint. More trains would like your help.
thank you very much. I am the #1 blue engine. Nice job. Black goes great with my yellow stripe.
You're right. I am the #3 green engine.
Everyone on the island has a special area where they are most useful to me. Some jobs are best left to planes, some to trains, and some to cranes. Can you figure out where everyone belongs? When your Sodor friend appears at the bottom of the screen, use the direction buttons on your controller to select an area on the island and press enter when you have found where they belong. Nice job. I help out at the quarry where I help load and unload troublesome trucks.
I knew you could do it. On my railroad tracks, I'm able to bring passengers to all the stations on the island.
You're really smart. In the water, I am able to bring goods in and out of the harbor. Terrific! I love flying high in the sky, so I can see everything happening on the island. You did it. I help out at the farm, plowing fields and making sure everything is ready for the farmers to plant their crops. Good work. I love carrying passengers along the roads to areas on the island where trains can't go. Well done. You're really useful. There are many engines on the island of Sodor, and they all are really useful. Do you know them all? Select a name by using the up or down button on your controller. Press the enter button when you've found the correct name. Nice job. I'm Henry, the #3 green engine. You're right. I'm Thomas, and I'm a really useful engine. Nice job. More trains would like your help. You've done a great job. I'm Gordon, and I'm the fastest engine on the island. Wow, you're great. I'm Percy, and I'm very pleased to know you.
Wonderful. I am James, and I'm a splendid engine. Which island picture is different game? All of your Sodor friends are different. Thomas is cheeky. Percy is small and sometimes a bit naive. And I'm splendid, of course. Sir Topham Hatt says that our differences help to make us all really useful engines. Now it's your turn to find out differences on the island of Sodor. When the 4 pictures turn around, find the one picture that is different from the other 3. Use the direction buttons on your controller to select the picture, and press enter when you think you've found the different picture. I'm Mavis, and I'm just on my way back from the quarry. During my travels, I get to see a lot of my friends. Can you guess which picture is different? You tracked that one perfectly. Terrence and his caterpillar tracks are missing from this picture. Hi, I'm Cranky, and I don't have much time to play games since I'm always hard at work at the docks. But I'll play this quick game with you. Find which of these 4 pictures is different from the rest. Great job. You hooked on to the fact that this picture has cargo on my hook. I'm Harold, and I love flying high in the sky. Can you find which picture is different?
Remember, guys, don't point a gun.
You must be on cloud 9, now that you've guessed that the image missing from this picture is the cloud.
It's a little too late for that. Especially when that person that you slightly like is talking to you an hour about who they like. And
Percy here, and I'm glad to be going back to the engine shed. Even though I'm tired, I still love my trip through the countryside and all the pretty flowers. Can you guess which picture is different?
They talked to me for an hour about who they like and sounded like it was me, but turned out to be, do you remember Mia?
You've grown into a very smart engineer in seeing that the difference in this picture is the growing flowers. You've done a great job. Make sure to come back and play again and again.
No, it sounded like it was...
The animals live on the island of Sodor. When an animal appears, look at the 4 words next to it and use the up and down arrows on your controller to choose the correct word that goes with that animal. When you've found the correct word, press the enter button. Here's your first Sodor. Can you guess which animal this is? It's the same animal that pushed Henry out of the tunnel. That's right. This is an elephant, and when an elephant got loose from the carnival, he pushed Henry right out of the tunnel. Here's another animal. Can you guess what animal this is? Here's a hint. It once got loose on the line and caused Henry to stop and almost be late. That's right. This is a cow. Do you remember when the cow got loose on the line and caused Henry to almost be late? Here's your third animal. This animal helps to provide wool for Lady Hat's beautiful sweaters. Can you guess what it is? You're right. Lady Hat uses the wool from the sheep on the island to knit beautiful sweaters. You've done a great job so far. Here's your last animal. Can you guess what animal Gordon once referred to as a gremlin? You're great. It was was a dog Gordon and the others referred to as a gremlin. Great job. Make sure to come back and play again. There are many engines on the island that love riding the rails and proving that they are really useful. When the picture comes up, use the up and down direction arrows to select the correct name of the engine, and press enter when you think you've found the right name. All aboard!
Hi, I'm the #1 engine who rides my very own branch line with my faithful coaches Annie and Clarabelle. Can you find my name? You're so smart. I'm Thomas, the #1 blue engine. Hi, I'm the #5 engine with the splendid red coat. Can you find my name? Why, you're as splendid as I am. I am James. Hi, I'm the #6 green engine, and I love proving that little engines can do big things. Can you choose my name from the list? I knew you'd get it right. I am Percy. You've done such a great job so far. I'm your last engine. Can you pick out which is my name? You're right. I'm Edward, and I'm the #2 blue engine.
Great job. Make sure to come back and play again. All of your friends on the island of Sodor travel on the rails. Here are a few who use other means to get around the island. When your friend appears, use the up and down direction arrows on your controller and press enter when you have selected the correct name. Good luck!
I love taking passengers around the island of Sodor. Can you find my name? You're great. I'm Bertie, and the only thing I like better than taking passengers is racing my good friend, Thomas.
Flying high in the sky is my favorite thing to do. Can you find my name from this list? I always knew you could do it. I'm Harold the helicopter, and I'm happiest when I am high in the sky and can see all over the island.
I love working in the fields for the farmer, but also enjoy dozing in the sun every now and then. Can you pick my name from the list? You're so smart. I'm Trevor, and ever since I was saved from scrap, I've been helping the farmer in the fields. I was Sir Topham Hatt's first truck when he came to the island. Do you know who I am? You are absolutely right. I'm Elizabeth, and I can always prove that roads are better than rails.
Great job. Make sure to come back and play again.